What's going on, Pokemon trainers? Wawa here to tell you all about the 91-person Pokemon League Cup I help judge. I help run the Pokemon League at Endangered Hobbies in the Natick Mall in Massachusetts. And this past weekend we hosted our first League Cup. We had 91 trainers in total and had 7 rounds, which were best of 1, plus a top cut for the top 8 masters at the end. Our top 4 trainers in the Masters division this month are Anthony Balco with an Arceus Chen-Pow deck in first place, Arjun Kodsa with a Lost Box deck in second place, Ryan Bones with a Lost Box Giratina deck in third place, and Xander Greslick with the Miraidon Magnezone V-Star deck in fourth. And without further ado, let's take a look at some of those top decks we had this month. In fourth place, we have Xander's Miraidon EX and Magnezone V-Star deck. This deck uses Miraidon EX's ability to put Pokemon on your bench, along with getting Raichu out early game to maybe use that fast charge ability, and eventually really do some serious damage with Dynamic Spark. This deck also uses trainer cards like Electric Generator to get energy cards onto your Pokemon as fast as humanly possible, and also support Pokemon like Flaffy to get energy cards out of your discard and onto your Pokemon. And last but certainly not least, we have Magnezone V-Star with its magnetic grip attack, which does 180 damage, lets you search 2 item cards, so handy. And then also its V-Star ability, Electro Star, does 90 damage to 2 of your opponent's benched Pokemon. Super handy for early game double knockouts on Gardevoir EX decks on their bench. Tons of useful things with a lot of the low HP Pokemon we're starting to see creep back into the meta. Super duper handy. Xander's record was 6-2-1. That's 6 wins, 2 losses, and 1 tie. Did very, very well, and I'm not surprised with this deck. Next up, we have Ryan with his Lost Box Giratina deck. Really effective deck. We've seen a lot of Lost Box this season. Mainly starts out with Comfey in the active slot, using flower selecting to then pull whatever cards you kind of need going forward, and leaving some in the Lost Zone to help power up other Pokemon like Cramorant, which can swing for a lot very early on, very dangerous. This deck also utilizes a lot of trainers and supporter cards, like Colress Experiment, which puts a bunch in your Lost Zone and also kind of lets you select whatever you need out of those cards that you pull up. This will help power up other Pokemon who you need to kind of finish the game with, like Sableye for its Lost Mine attack, or Giratina V-Star with its V-Star ability, Star Requiem, which is an automatic KO of any Pokemon. Super efficient for a lot of those high HP ones that you wouldn't be able to knock out in a single turn with Sableye. After you pull off one of those plays too, it's very, very advantageous to throw down a Path to Peak right after to shut down any EX, V-Star, or Radiant Pokemon's abilities. Congrats to Ryan for going 6-1-2 with this deck, taking 3rd place. It's a really great deck. There's a reason it's popular. In 2nd place, we had Arjun with another Lost Box deck, but this one was a little bit different. This deck sets up the same way as the last one, with Comfey using its ability to get whatever cards you need and put some in the Lost Zone, along with the trainers and supporters that do that, to kind of gear up Cramorant for early swings and Sableye for later swings. But this deck differs in its Pokemon V and endgame Pokemon, using Pokemon like Dragonite V with its big attack that does 250 damage, Raikou V utilizing a big filled bench to swing for big numbers, and also a Drapion V for those Mew matchups. There's no Path to Peak in this list, mainly because it sets up so quick and you don't really need it. This deck did really, really well, and congrats to Arjun for a very solid 2nd place at this cup. And finally, in 1st place, we have Anthony with his Chen-Pow Arceus deck. Now, this isn't a regular Chen-Pow deck like we've been seeing in the meta so far. This is actually utilizing the Arceus mechanic to slap on energy and to swing pretty big early on in the game. Having Arceus' V-Star power too is very, very useful to get whatever cards you might need throughout the game, while also utilizing support Pokemon like Baxcalibur to put energy from your hand onto any of your water Pokemon, and Lumineon to pull any supporter you might need later on, especially if you've already used Arceus' V-Star ability or you haven't been able to evolve Arceus V yet. With all of that proper support in play, Anthony was able to utilize Chen-Pow to do some serious damage basically whenever he needed to, and was able to eke out some really, really solid wins. Once again, congrats to Anthony for winning this 91-person cup. Not an easy feat, super awesome, with a really, really cool, different deck we haven't really seen so far. And last, but certainly not least, and also because there's not a ton of stuff celebrating seniors out there, we have our first place winner in the seniors division, Zach Forget, one of my favorite young trainers who comes to our league, with his Arceus, Giratina, and some classified spice that he's got on there. Take a look. Super cool deck, super efficient. He'll be competing at Worlds, so be sure to cheer for him. I will be, that's for sure. Congrats to Zach for winning. Super psyched. I'd just like to take a second and thank everybody who helped out on this giant tournament. It really takes a team to make these things run smoothly and, for everybody to have fun. So thanks to Professor M, Professor Joe, Professor Adam, Professor Richie, and to all of our young trainers who helped pass out match slips and just generally helped us out big time. Also, if you're in the New England area, be sure to drop by and check us out. We run every Sunday at Endangered Hobbies in the Natick Mall in Natick, Massachusetts. It's a ton of fun, and be sure to stop in and at least say hey. Be sure to like and subscribe our channel. It helps us out a ton. We have a ton more videos coming out really, really soon, more league coverage, and we'll also be heading to Worlds and following a ton of players there, so be sure to check that out. See you later, Pokemon Trainer.